this is Akshay Mishra, and in this video I will show you how to use an radio button and a radio group in an app. So here I made an activity that is radio button activity, and here we have the both XML and the Java file of this activity. So let's start the coding with the XML file. Now drag and drop the components. Here we require a button, so drag and drop a button, double tap on it and change the default name to clear selection. I will tell you later on why I am choosing here a clear selection and a button. Give an ID button 1. Now again we need to drag and drop a large text to show the status. Expand it. Now double tap on it and give a default name. Give a default name that is status. Now give it a ID. I am giving here ID that is text view 1. Press enter. Now we need to drag and drop a radio group. So scroll this palette down and here you will find a radio group in this containers. So just drag and drop to the phone. Now this is the radio group, and now we need to drag and drop the radio buttons inside this radio group. So okay, we are dragging and dropping the radio buttons inside the radio group because by doing so we can select only one button at a time. So this is my radio button. Double tap on it and give it a default name. I am giving here a default name that is lunch. Let's anything you can give. Oh, let's take breakfast. Now there is no need to put a tick on this checked. Now give a ID name. Here I am giving ID name that is radio button 1. Press enter. Do the same things to drag and drop a few radio buttons inside this radio group. I am skipping these steps because it is very simple as that. You can do it very easily. So now here I am having 3 radio buttons inside this radio group. One is breakfast, lunch and dinner. Okay, now come to the coding of this XML file, and here we need to define a function which will call when we press this clear selection, and clear selection is button is used to clear the selected radio buttons. Okay, so come to the text and define a function. So it is the button clear selection. On click. Let's take function fun. Now again we need to define a function which will call when we press either of the button present in this radio group. So come to the XML coding. Now come to the coding of radio group. So this is my radio group, and again I am here defining a function which will get called when we press any of the button present in the radio group. So on click. And give a function name. On checked. Changed. Now come to the coding of the Java file, and we need to just include the components present in the XML file in the Java file. Okay, before doing that I also need to give the ID number of this radio group. So double tap on this radio group and give a ID number that is radio group 1. radio group 1, press enter. Now come to the coding of Java file, and we need to include the components. So first components is radio group rg1. Now a button b1. Now a text view tv1. Now come to the on click function. So I am skipping these steps to because it is very simple. Okay, now we need to type here rg1 dot on checked change listener, and this. Now here it is showing an error. If you having some error, go to the line and press alt plus enter, and here I am, it is giving an option that is implement methods. Press enter. On checked change. Now go to OK. Okay, here you will find a function on checked change. This function will call when we press any of the button present inside this radio group, that is breakfast, lunch or dinner. When we press either of these three buttons, this function will get called. And to include this function in a Java file, we need to define a set on checked change listener. Now again we need to define a function that will call when we press this clear selection button, and the function name that I was declared was fun. Okay, so define this function, public void fun view v. Now come to the coding of on checked changed. Here as you are seeing that it is giving checked id. What is this checked id? Checked id contains the id number of the radio button present inside this radio group, and if you pressed this button, this, and the id number of this button is radio button 1. Okay, so the checked id contains radio button 1, and if you press this button, that is lunch, and the id number of this lunch is radio button 2, then checked id contains radio button 2. Okay, so come to the coding. Here I am taking a string str equal to you have selected. Now take a switch function, switch checked id. Now you have to give the different cases for different IDs. So these are the different cases. Case 1 for radio button 1, case 2 radio button 2, and case 3 for radio button 3. If the checked ID contains the ID radio button 1, then this case will execute, and if this checked ID contains the ID that is radio button 2, then next case will execute, otherwise next case that is radio button 3 will execute. Now come to the coding of this another function that is fun, and this will call when we press this button, that is clear selection, and this clear selection will clear the selected radio buttons. So type here rg1 dot clear check. Now tv1 dot set text. You have selected none. When you press this button, this function will get called and all the radio button will unchecked and text view becomes you have selected none. Now run this app and let's see. Okay, before running this app we need to include another line of code, is that when you press the radio button, you also need to change the status present in the text view. So right here tv1 dot set text, that is a next string name. Now you can run this app. So this is the app that I made, and if you, these are the radio buttons, and if you clicked this breakfast and the status becomes you have selected breakfast, and if you have selected lunch, then you have the status becomes you have selected lunch. And at a time you can select only one button, radio button, because you had put it all the radio buttons inside a radio group. And in case if you have selected this button, that is clear selection, all the selection becomes cleared and our status is you have selected none. So this is how you can set a radio button inside your app. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I hope that you understand this lecture. For getting more videos on app development and some special tricks, please subscribe this channel.